I'm ready whenever you are.
Roll it.
Sup, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. This podcast can be found on allthingscomedy.com or at allthingscomedy.com. And if you go to allthingscomedy.com, they have a host of podcasts there with all and some of the greatest comics that are on the West Coast. Bill Burr and Bert Kreischer have a podcast together. Besides Bill Burr's Monday Morning podcast, even though every morning feels like Monday morning since this whole thing happened. I wonder if Bill is putting one out every day. You should go there and check. Bobby Lee has his podcast there. Danish and O'Neill, Kate Quagley, and it just list goes on and on. So go to allthingscomedy.com. My podcast is there. You can also listen to my podcast on Art19 and still on iTunes, and you can watch it and like it and subscribe to it on YouTube. I want to thank producer Aaron Brungardt again for hooking up the Zoom. And here we go with two guests. They've been on the last 2 weeks. Neil Chakravarty with his Chelsea shirt on, comic from San Diego.
Hey.
What's going on, Neil?
Good. It's good to be back.
Good to be back. All right, cool. And Martin W. Harris, who's been in a host of movies and also is the voice of a lot of video game characters and a journalist for 442 magazine. Yeah, what's up, Martin? How you feeling?
Hey, feeling positive and optimistic.
Well, I guess that was going to be the first question. The first question was, Neil, you're a Chelsea fan. How you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like good, but not content because we still have that guy in goal. So unless we get a keeper, I'm still not gonna be.
It's the only thing that's making the world even right now. It's Kepa.
Yeah.
Kepa is the light that's going to keep the Premier League shining.
Going, right?
Like, because with Kepa, with all the money you guys spend, and then I hear about this hidden money that you have from the sale of Hazard.
Yeah. 60
and it just
million.
comes out now.
Yeah. And it is so weird the way it came out, because usually all these transfer figures, the only way we get to know is through these, credible journalists, right? Like there are certain journalists close to every club, and they come out with these figures and stuff. But this is the only time you can actually get to know something for sure, because this came out through a court case. So what happened was Hazard's first training club in Belgium, I think this is the club before he joined Lille's academy. They, whichever way they sold him to Lille, they had an agreement where he would get every, subsequent transfer sale of Hazard, they would get some trickle-down money.
Damn.
And there was a fraud investigation into that club. So their finances from last year came out, and it turns out to be 800,000 is what they got. And they know the percentage. And then that's how the eventual, they calculated like what was the eventual sale of of Hazard.
So whenever Hazard gets sold, ever, they get money.
Yeah. They don't get a lot. But for example, this was a 160 million sale. They got 800,000.
Right.
So it's not a lot, but I'm sure for them it's a great deal of money.
It's like getting a residual check in the mail if you're an actor, you did a movie.
Exactly.
Right. The checks Martin gets sometimes. Make sure you change your addresses so that your residual checks go to the right address. You don't have you don't want the new people.
Now, I used to be like that way. Sometimes you get a lot of checks for like 2 cents, 5 cents, or like 10 cents. Now it all goes to your bank account straight, so that's good.
Oh, okay, so the 2 cents go right in there. You save a lot of paper. It's good, man. Thank you for being green, baby. And so I want to ask you the same question. You say you're feeling good. Why are you feeling good for Spurs, Martin?
Well, I'm feeling good because it's the second season of Mourinho, which is always his best season in every club he works. So that's a good sign. He'll be responsible solely for the team, so he will implement his ideas and he will work with the players he wants to work with, except of Ndombele, who they were not able to sell, I guess, or maybe he will like him this time around. We'll see what happens. But I think it will surprise a lot of people because the good thing is that nobody counts on the Spurs next year, so that's a good thing. There'll be no pressure.
Nobody what?
Nobody really takes Spurs as a top team anymore. Based on last year and based on the changes. So I think it will actually work in the favor. We will not have pressure, and that will be a good situation for this team to finish in the top four, which I think we will. And probably the trophy, either a cup or Europa League. I think we'll win one of those trophies.
Neil, do you look at Spurs the way Martin just described them, as nobody's expecting them to do anything?
I think that is kind of true in the sense that for the first time in about 5 or 6 years, that Spurs isn't really being thought of as a top four candidate, because they were always there because they had one of the best teams for the last, I think, since the 2014-15 season.
Right.
I think it's the first time that the old guard has gone away. So it's kind of a rebuild process, right? With Tottenham, it's a new. The manager is relatively new too at the club.
Mm-hmm.
So and you see the kind of changes Chelsea and Manchester United have made, which kind of, and Arsenal's making some investment too. So it's expectations relative to the other years. I think that's correct, that there's not a lot of expectations, which can be a great thing, because I especially believe Spurs will have a good run in the Europa League.
Isn't that a weird position for a Mourinho team to be in, of low expectation? Do you think Mourinho wants to be on a team that has low expectation?
No, the team doesn't have low expectations, but people, so-called critics, have a low expectations for Tottenham. But the team does have expectations, and I think that's a double positive for the Spurs. Plus, I will remind you of the one very good season he had with Man U, where Man U wasn't also the critics' favorite, and he delivered by finishing second and winning two trophies, which was a kind of a positive surprise, because United weren't counted as one of the top teams at the time. So
Man United is always expected to do well, even when we have shit players. So I don't know, like listen, man, there's always an unrealistic expectation. Even last year, beginning of the season, and when we had injuries to Pogba before Bruno Fernandes got there, people were shocked if we'd lose to like Wolves or tie with Wolves, or lose or tie with Sheffield. People would be mad, and I'm like, listen, man, we're injured. So I don't know if Man United's name just always carries this expectation with it. But this year, I'll just speak about Man U, how I feel about them, and then after this, we can go into the Spurs documentary. I don't know if it.
I just want to mention one thing, though.
No, I'm going to do this, and then you mention the other thing.
No, just because it's...
No, Martin.
All right. Well, what I wanted to say is that...
No, Martin, no. It's hilarious. I just love how he can't stop himself. So he's going to bust. He's turning mad red. You're turning Man U color. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for representing.
I just had a very good point, which I'm not going to say.
Don't forget it. Write it down. I just want to say I feel that Man U's in a good position, and we need maybe one more bye to guarantee top four. One more correct bye to guarantee top four, and that probably has to be an attacking midfielder or Sancho. So that kind of guarantee. I don't think we need a central defender like everybody's stressing. Probably, and I said this. I forgot that I thought this 2 years ago, or a year ago. Like, I thought we always needed a backup left back, and because but I thought Brandon Williams was fine, and I think he'll grow into the game better. But everybody's talking about Reguilón. Is it Reguilón?
Yeah, Sergio. Yeah.
Sergio Reguilón, which makes me worry about Williams, but because I think Williams, people grow into the game. Like Wan-Bissaka is going to learn to go forward and contribute, like going forward more this year. I'm sure we'll see that, and I'm sure if Shaw got injured, Brandon Williams would figure it out. So, I'd rather concentrate on people we need creatively in creating goals. So that's what I want. I feel like if we need defenders, we get them in the transfer window coming up, the winter one or the season after. I feel like we just need to know to get skilled technical players who can, if we're building out the back, we could trust them and go forward and get the ball to the people who could put the ball in the back of the net. So I like the Van der Beek buy. And I heard it's it's not even Van der Beek.
It's Van der Beek.
For some reason. His name spells Beek,
Dutch.
but it's Bake.
Yeah.
He's just really
Dutch
being
thing.
Dutch about his name for some reason. But one more buy, top 4.
That should be the minimum. I mean, you just finished third, so I don't try to play the minimum game here for me.
No, I'm not playing the minimum game. Look what Chelsea just did. Yeah. Chelsea just bought an entire brand new team of players who have experience going deep into the Champions League. Plus, they have the squad from last year that helped them finish 4th. So you just can't ignore that.
Might not work out. We'll see. Sometimes you have too many raisins in the cake gets spoiled. So we'll see how it happens with Chelsea. But the point I was trying to make is that since Sir Alex Ferguson left, the best result you ever had was under Mourinho, 2nd place. But nobody else finished 2nd. Since Sir Alex Ferguson left. So Mourinho has a proven track record. He got some bad reputation over the years, but if you look back, he didn't really fail completely at any place. He won at Chelsea, he won at Milan, he won at Real Madrid, not as much as Guardiola, but he still won. He still won one title. He won Copa del Rey and a few other things, right?
He's won.
Then he went to Man U and he won again.
Yeah.
He will win with Spurs. That's why.
Listen, Mourinho has won everywhere he's gone except Spurs.
Yeah.
So
this will be the true test of Mourinho, though. Like, if he can get Spurs to win,
I'm saying, give him a full. That's his first full season. Give him a full season. Let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm continue to watch the doc, and I continue to like him as a coach. I still think you guys need to change your captains, because in the new episode, Lloris is back, and listen, man, you guys need a captain who can speak and rev his teammates up and not be afraid to rev the teammates up. Like,
yeah, they're kind of all introverted people. Like, where even when you look at Eriksen, I was always wondering why Eriksen is not a captain, and especially that he had such a big impact the way we played for over the years, But then you look at those moments when he's in the chairman's room and he talks to both of them. He barely even speaks. He's like mumbles something under his nose, So he's definitely not a speaker. One thing that was for me very interesting, like the most interesting moment, was his conversation with Danny Rose. That was spicy. That was a spicy one.
Yeah.
Actually, Danny Rose is one guy. I know how he said Eric Dyer is the bad boy in the first 3 episodes. I think Danny Rose also has that sort of edge with him. Of course, he's not in his prime anymore, but
he was trying to throw his teammates under the bus, saying, but they're playing bad and they keep playing every week.
But you didn't like that?
No, I mean, you shouldn't do that. I mean, how can you put the blame on your other defenders? That's a good way to prove your point.
He's just fighting for his life. He's 29. He's ex-England international, And like you're right. I would want to say that, but I wouldn't say it. It's a good thing he did get loaned out. And did Newcastle buy him, or where is he now?
In the Newcastle, I mean, he did okay, but he didn't really put the whole world on notice.
No, but I know, but where is he now? Because that was a loan.
Yeah, he's at Newcastle.
So he's still at Newcastle.
Oh, so the loan is continuing?
1 year loan, so I think it's still winter. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the manager kind of threw him on the bus just before that too, saying that, you got your chance and you were shit. So then
And it's one game against a tough team. It was against.
And
he played good against Liverpool, right? Is that what they say?
No, I think they said Liverpool is where he didn't play well.
But
that's what Mourinho says. You didn't play well against Liverpool. He's like, even if I played shit, and he said, I didn't say shit, Mourinho. No, I played shit. But the other players are playing shit every week, and they're playing every week. That's what he said. That was the conversation.
I think his point also was like, well, you're letting me play once every 4 weeks. What do you expect?
Right.
I don't get an extended run. But
he was just asking for more time to prove to himself or to prove to Mourinho that he can play. But I think Mourinho, based on how after that conversation he was gone, I think he was probably right to confront Mourinho because, listen, if you let a player go that fast after you have a conversation like that with him, that means you were done with him anyway. And especially if you're done with somebody when you have no team, like you have like 9 players and one of them is arguing with you about getting on the field, and you want to mean a nasty player, and you're like, there's a bus outside waiting to take you to Newcastle. So I think they were done with him anyway.
Danny Rose wasn't that happy about going to Newcastle, though.
Who would?
He kept asking.
About Milan.
Yeah, he's like, oh wait. So Dan Levy is like, yeah, well, Newcastle said they might want to loan you. Bournemouth doesn't have the funds, and then suddenly this dude is like, what about Milan?
What did Danny Rose think this was a bad news first, good news second scenario? No, motherfucker. Bournemouth and Newcastle are the good news. The bad. You're not gonna get better news after that.
I mean, he got better one of two, because if he was at Bournemouth, he'll be preparing for championship right now. So he got a better solution with Newcastle for sure. Although, as I said, he didn't set the world on fire at Newcastle. It's not like everybody's talking about Danny Rose, how great Danny Rose is, Right. And people are talking, for example, how great Kieran Trippier was at Atletico Madrid, and that the Spurs made a mistake of letting him go. Nobody says that about Danny Rose. What a mistake.
I knew that was a mistake. You guys let them go. I questioned you about that around the time, and you was like, "No, I let him go. He had a bad year."
Yeah.
And then your team is out of defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Doherty will be a good buy on this position.
I don't know. Doherty's good at a team where you don't expect that team to do that well. Spurs, there's like a higher level of excellence. Like I think it's a good buy for you, but Doherty, that whole Wolves defense, they all make Cody, Bali, Doherty. Those guys make mistakes sometimes that are kind of glaring, but because the team is doing better than expected, you kind of forget those things.
And Cody just played for England last game, and he promoted himself to the England national team. I think Doherty. Listen, the same situation with Trippier. We bought him from Burnley, so there is a good roadmap for Doherty, especially that he had so many assists and he was so good offensively for Wolves. Right. If he continues to be creative offensively and not make mistakes Serge Aurier made last year, that would be a big improvement.
Here's the thing: it's funny. Like every soccer fan has an issue with a player on their team that the coach likes or other people like. Like for Neil, it's Willian, and for you, it's Serge Aurier. But when you watch the documentary, like even when you watch the documentary, can't you see why Mourinho plays him more? Does that make more sense to you? Because I do.
I mean, I understand, and I know why he plays him more, because he didn't have any other options. That was the only option, actually. So that's why he played him. He didn't have another right back. He had 3 left backs, 1 solid one in Ben Davies and 2 okay ones in Tanganga and Cessignon. But on the right back, there was no other option. So,
but your goals are coming from that right. A lot of your goals are coming from that right side with Serge Aurier.
That's why I'm saying, because he didn't have any other option. He even tried Vertonghen to play as a right back last season 2 or 3 times, who barely moves because he's now an older player, an older center back. So now we address that problem, and we addressed another problem with not having a classic defensive midfielder, which we missed since Dembele. So with those 2 buys, I'm positive. I think they'll implement the team if Dele Alli shows up, if Son and Kane are healthy, and if Lucas Moura has a better season, because his last season wasn't that great. The season 2 seasons ago, he was much, much better. So if that happens, if those things kind of happen that way, Spurs can be a very good team.
What's happened to Kyle Walker-Peters? Is he still around?
Yeah, and then he's just not that good. I mean, he's okay.
Okay.
I think Lucas Moura has good seasons when Harry Kane is out injured and he gets to play.
No, he played when he was injured and he couldn't score a goal, and we were really struggling without Harry Kane. But that was the worst moment of the season. We would have finished top 4 if Harry Kane was not injured. We would have finished.
Hey man, we would have finished top 2 if Pogba didn't get injured. If Rashford didn't get injured, if Martial didn't get injured. It's like everybody has injuries. Like I almost got sucked in and felt sorry for Spurs while I'm watching the documentary. Then I'm like, wait a minute, everybody has injuries. Like why am I feeling sorry? Like there's a reason why Marcus Rashford got into the team. Injuries. He's only 22 years old. There's a reason why Greenwood is in our team. Like we sold Lukaku, didn't replace him. And then we didn't have anybody else. And it's like, but we all have other people because I think every team needs to go into their youth academies more. It's like that. Dortmund has a documentary on Netflix. I think they put on Amazon. I think it came out in 2018. And I just started watching it before the podcast. I almost missed the podcast, because I didn't know it was there. I just watched the end of the Spurs doc, and then afterwards the options for other soccer documentaries. I said, oh shit, Dortmund did one, and they're talking about the year when I forgot about the bus being attacked on their way to a Champions League game, and they talked about like just securing all these young players, and it's just the chances that Dortmund takes in the big time, they take and like Tanganga was a chance that Mourinho took that they were forced to take. And I know he's made some huge mistakes, but I also know he's won man of the match and done some good things. So I think, and then Davies said something very important during the documentary. And he said, why do teams have to buy every year?
Mm-hmm.
Like this transfer, he's like, we should be set. Teams should be set. And I was like, this goes against the flow of the river, but it makes complete sense to me. And I agree with him.
But I think you can only do that once you are set. Like a lot of these clubs right now, including our club, is in transition. So Tottenham used to be like that.
Yeah,
Tottenham used to be like that
under Pochettino.
Yeah, because that's because they had a core of settled players in the 24 to 27, 28 age range, who were all doing the business. That's not Tottenham now.
That's my point. That's like he's saying you should be set up like that. Like the reason why I'm using Dortmund as an example is because they're set up like that. Like Man United right now is setting themselves up like that. They just bought some kid from the Spanish league. He's 16 years old.
You need to get them in. Yeah.
We keep on getting a lot of wonder kids. So it's like in a few like I don't want to pay the money for Sancho. I'm probably one of the few Man U fans that don't want to. But if he works out, and then we bought a lot of young kids recently, like they're making big news in the buying the kid department. Like if these kids work out, then we won't have to buy shit. And then you guys with your transfer ban were forced again. Only when people are forced do they play their kids? And look what happened to you guys last year. You got in the Champions League.
And actually, that's what helps. Like all the buying that we're doing right now, we essentially, like after Sari left, we pretty much needed a brand new 16 with Hazard gone, Luis gone, Aspilicueta kind of getting on in age.
He'll play though next season. He'll still be our first choice.
I doubt that. I think at some point, at least during the season, James is gonna, because we've already seen James starting over him at times, but then we had such a bad issue at left back that Aspilicueta had to play on the left, so he still was in the 11. But now with Chilwell back in, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in this season, Reece James becomes the starter at right back.
What's your best buy this transfer?
No, but just to finish the early point,
sorry.
what I was saying was that when you need that many players and you kind of have to start off with a brand new team, you can't go and buy. No club with FFP around has the money to buy that many players. So what we've done is half of those are coming from either academy and loan players. So therefore now suddenly you have more money to spend on the rest half. Others, what you got to do, instead of buying one 60 million player, you have to buy 230 million players. And we've actually tried that in the past, and that's how we ended up with a whole lot of Zappa-Costas, Drinkwaters, Bakayokos.
That's just bad buying, though. Like
that's bad buying, but that's also bad buying because we had a manager who was not interested in using the loan army, who was not interested in using the academy. If you just had those players and you used them, then you wouldn't need to go buy that many players.
I feel like look at Bugsby's boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope the plane crash, the team gets practically wiped out, and they just go and just say, like, let's use these kids. I just think there's not a lot of trust, like, in kids. Like, I know Mourinho's not a big trust the kids type of guy. You know, he has to be forced in a situation. That's how McTominay came through. You know, that's how, Van Gaal was forced to use Rashford. But I just think, what's the sense of having a youth academy if none of these players can come through and be huge stars? Like Harry Kane, like the way Pochettino had set up Spurs was pretty perfect, except they didn't win anything.
I think it's changing though now. Like Liverpool has shown you can win by doing that half and half template, where they had somebody like Alexander-Arnold from the academy.
Right.
Then they had players who were not from the academy, Joe Gomez, Andy Robertson, but they were pretty cheap buys, and they got them in early. So now suddenly in the starting 11, you have 4 or 5 such these guys. Then you can actually go and spend a lot more on the Van Dijks, the Alissons, the Salahs, the Manes. So I think United is doing something similar right now. Chelsea is doing something similar. I think it's only City that is. I think Foden's the only one from Phil Foden's the only one from the academy, their entire squad. Everybody else is a pretty hefty buy.
Right. I'm gonna see if I can do a screen share. I can. All right. I just want you guys to see that Arsenal is at the top of the table, and this is probably the only way they're gonna get there.
I like that.
You like that?
Well, even that they're on top because Bournemouth got relegated. I think Bournemouth's name starts with something with A. Official name.
It starts with what?
Starts with A. Something with A. I think it's.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, AFC Bournemouth or something like that.
Oh, damn.
So last season they were second.
It was second before the season starts.
They had to get an Eddie Howe team relegated for this to happen.
It's hilarious. What do you? Let me run through some teams. Like I'm not a professional transfer person, but I think some teams have done good. And I listened to like a bunch of like podcasts and like clips of what some teams have done before, the before this podcast. And well, let me, before I even do this, did everybody finish saying what they had to say about the Spurs documentary?
No, I think there's
Like
more,
the last 3
right?
episodes. Say what?
Isn't there more?
About the Spurs documentary?
Yeah, but there will be more. There will be more. There will be more in next episodes. You know, to probably dig, because we'll see how Mourinho manages the crisis. Because now we went through injuries, and the next episode or two will be the losing time. You know, when we really had a really very tough situation with players, and there was no one to play as a striker. Really, no one available, and some other injuries. I want to see how. There was a period of time when we lost some games, and then there is a pandemic, and then we come back, and actually during the pandemic we have a pretty good record, and overall with Mourinho we have 4th best record for the season. So I want to see how he goes through this tougher stretch that I remember exactly, because I was shooting a movie in Atlanta when they played Leipzig, and all I saw on play-by-play on ESPN was Leipzig attack. So this I know that this, and then I saw the highlights, and the Spurs were really bad in this game,
right?
This particular. So that will be the next episode I want to see, because he talked in the last episode about how important this Leipzig game is, and then the Leipzig completely outplayed us. Timo Werner got a winning goal, by the way, your new Chelsea player, and I want to see how his reaction, because that might be one of those games where we see the different side of Mourinho in the locker room. I want to see that, because I was actually surprised how he handled the Danny Rose situation. I was surprised how calm he was with Danny Rose, and how peaceful he was with Danny Rose. Danny Rose was the one attacking. Yeah. The old Mourinho would go head-to-head with Danny Rose, but here he was kind of withdrawing. Like, Danny Rose, I know I played shit. No, not exactly shit. It wasn't your best game. Like, the way the use of the vocabulary, it's almost like Mourinho knew that there is a camera on him, and Danny Rose did it. So that looks...
I think Mourinho knows.
I agree with you there, yeah. But I got that feeling too, that Mourinho seems a lot more measured than what you'd normally expect from Mourinho in that situation.
Because the cameras are on. He's learned some stuff from Spurs, from being at Man United. So you're welcome, Martin.
No,
but also, why argue with a girl you're breaking up with? Like, if you know you're gonna break up with your girl.
Yeah, he made his decision.
The Danny Rose decision was made before Danny Rose came in there.
But that's the one thing that stood out. That's the one thing, Neil, that stood out to me, that he sometimes, it comes through his voice, sort of bitterness about his second stint with Chelsea, the way it ended. Like, he said a few things here and there, like he even made a joke, you know, when a journalist asked him why you're at Spurs if you said that you'll never coach another team in London except of Chelsea, and he says, well, and what happened since? What happened? They fired me. So even in those moments, you can see that he had a little grudge against Chelsea. And the way he's talking to the team before Chelsea game, there's a little grudge. I don't see that much about United. I don't see him feeling like he got kicked in the butt by United.
They didn't show the United game.
No, but he talks about United in several occasions. Like, he even tells Dele Alli that Sir Alex Ferguson told him, by Dele Alli, he's the United player. The way he talks about United, about his he doesn't talk it in a negative fashion. Where about Chelsea, you can sense that there's some.
And that's fair, I guess, like, you know, to have that, because he did have genuine affection for the club and then got sacked. But I will just say, like, you know, from a Chelsea fan's point of view, there are a couple of things that happened. For starters, like, when he got sacked, we were, I think, 15th or 16th. That's not really, it's not like how he got sacked the first time, which I thought was very unfair, that we missed out on the title. We didn't win anything that season, and he got sacked. But this time, I guess, like, when you are playing at such a low level compared to what kind of squad you have, it is kind of the call is kind of coming. It didn't come out of the blue. Also, you know, about the fact that he got sacked, so therefore the emotional connection is kind of gone. Mourinho actually said something very interesting back when he was manager in 2014-15. You remember when Frank Lampard joined New York City and then he went and played for Manchester City for 6 months? Mm-hmm. and he actually played. He played and scored against us, and I think the fans were okay with it because we understood the situation, and we have so much love for this guy, and he's just being a professional, and he didn't celebrate, so everybody was fine. But Mourinho kind of came out after the game and said that, actually not after that game, but then we had to play them again in a month or 2 months time. And before the game, he said that it's all good, but when you play for a rival, all love stories are over. And I kind of, whenever I have to think about Jose Mourinho right now managing Spurs, I kind of go back and quote Mourinho himself, because no, these were the rules that you laid out. That you're not when you play for a rival, when you manage a rival, that's when you cut the cord, and then there is no love lost after that. So the current mood of Chelsea fans about Mourinho is kind of informed by what Mourinho himself taught us.
All right. There was something that I wanted to bring up about what you were just saying about Mourinho, about Manchester United. And I think it's because he didn't talk about Manchester United. I think there is a grudge with Mourinho and Manchester United. I think Mourinho is a man of grudges, and it's just his career. Just let me finish. And that's his career, but you won't hear a lot about it in this documentary because we haven't played them yet in the documentary.
Yes,
but hold on. There's a game coming up, and I'm sure he's going to make a speech, and it's the first game after COVID. But when Mourinho got fired, he went into the booth and he said a lot of stuff and aired out his opinion on being fired from Man United then. And then there was definitely some bitterness and some grudge attitude there. So it hasn't popped up in the documentary yet, but
okay, let me tell you this.
It will.
Let me tell you this. So there was already a game which United won. That was the first loss he had as a Spurs manager. And listen, there are different types of grudges. I know it from, I'm not a very grudge type of a person, but there are different types of grudges you have in life. I think with Man U was a short-term grudge, where with Chelsea it's a deep-rooted grudge. It's just Chelsea meant more for him.
Chelsea's going to be a bigger grudge.
So it's a way bigger. I think he got over Man U, the way he sounds during the documentary. I think he got over it. He didn't get over when he was the pundit for Sky Sports. At the time, it was a fresh wound. But I think eventually he got over it. But the Chelsea is more deep inflicted wound. Yeah, it's still deep. It's still out there.
The day Mourinho beats Chelsea, the first time he beats Chelsea, oh my God, watch out for that press conference.
Yeah, you watch out because you're the Chelsea fan.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy. I was actually pretty surprised we won both games against them. I was not I don't think most Chelsea fans were expecting that.
Have you seen the injuries that they have? Jesus.
Well, that was another thing I was going to say, that, Tottenham Hotspur's injuries look bad only because they either don't or they are not willing to use folks that are in squad. I think Chelsea, we didn't have Kante for half the season. We didn't have Loftus-Cheek for the entire season. We didn't have
Loftus-Cheek for half the season. Doesn't even really count because he doesn't even really start.
But he was the season before that under Sarri. He was, apart from Hazard, at best attacking player.
He came in a few times. I watched every Chelsea game.
But he still had 6 goals and 3 assists from midfield.
That's not a lot.
That's a lot from midfield.
That's not
penalties.
Frank Lampard would not be Frank Lampard if 6 goals was a lot. He scored 20 a season.
No, but he got those in 1,000 minutes. That's what I'm saying.
Because he didn't play a lot.
He didn't play the best first half of the season. Sarri didn't trust him. But once he started playing, he started banging in goals and he started getting
in the
assists.
Premier League or the League?
In the Premier League, just the Premier League. He got a lot more in the Europa League, but I'm just talking about the Premier League.
I don't know. I think we should look that stat up. I don't trust that stat.
No, that is his stat. I remember he had 1 less goal contribution than Pogba that season, and Pogba had played 3 times more the number of minutes than.
Yeah, but Pogba's not playing attacking midfielder.
Well, it's pretty much the same role, box to box midfield.
Pogba's like sitting basically in front of the defenders next to, he's
But
sitting
he's
right in
not
front
playing
of them.
DM, right? He's still playing that box to box role, Pogba.
Nah, but our style back then was very defensive and very like what they call it, counter attacking. You know what I mean? It's like with, and then Chelsea, I know they attack. They get the
And that's
ball a lot. They hold on to,
we did attack, but you still have to get those goals. You still have to get those assists. And my point is,
I need to see that stat. I don't believe you, bro.
I'll pull it.
Martin,
up.
do you remember Loftus-Cheek scoring 6 goals
in the league?
Yeah. Oh, and not even in all the time he's been in the league. What's this, in one season? I need to see that, bro.
Okay, I'll bring that up.
I don't remember Loftus-Cheek, but one last thing about Mourinho and Chelsea. Like I remember whenever, especially in the first couple of episodes, whenever the Spurs won the game, I remember there was a moment when Chelsea lost, and he comes to the locker room with a big smile. Chelsea lost, and he always says 6 points behind Chelsea, 7 points behind Chelsea, 4 points behind Chelsea.
Oh yeah, he's always yeah. But that's also because Chelsea's in 4th. And
that's true.
They were 3rd at some point, and they were United were 4th, and then Arsenal was ahead. There was movement. Wolves were at 5th, approaching 4th, tied with with Chelsea. But he always.
But you're not trying to get to 6th. You're not trying to get to 7th. You're trying to get to 4th. You're trying to get to the Champions League spot. That's where Chelsea's at. It's not.
They're not always 4th. What I'm saying, and he always says about Chelsea this, Chelsea that, Chelsea lost, Chelsea this, So clearly that was personal for him.
Don't worry. At the last part of the season, they're talking about catching Manchester United, so don't worry about it.
Manchester was 3rd, so we're still Chelsea.
yeah, probably. Thank God. Anything else about the doc?
Oh yeah, you guys. What did you guys make of that episode where?
What's that
Son
noise?
seems. I think it's a. Oh, let me just close it.
Yeah. But finish.
Is it the trash? I don't know. Somebody else.
That's some late trash. It's 5 in the evening.
Hey, when they pick up the trash, I'm usually not awake, so I have no idea what time to pick it up. But yeah, what is it saying? What do you guys make of?
It's taking you harder to find those 6 Loftus-Cheek goals than it is for him to score it. 6 goals.
I already found it, though. I already found it.
All right, but go ahead.
But what do you guys make of the fact that when Son is injured, but he clearly doesn't want to go into that scan because he doesn't.
He knows.
He knows it's not just gonna be a bruise.
Right.
And.
And Mourinho kind of keeps insisting on him to play. That was like even Mourinho flashback. Him saying when he's talking to the team physio and kind of dismissing him. In the conversation, he has to play. He has to play.
He has to play.
No, he has to play.
Or Mourinho was like comparing Son's injury to an injury that he had, and he still played.
Yeah, and I'm like.
I mean, he's like, but every injury is different. Like, but it's like
he was an amateur player, pretty much.
Right. Exactly. But I guess, that's how desperate and dire the situation was. Like, he's out of players, and your leading scorer in the league is injured. And then you have this other guy, Son, and then now he's gone. He's like, he's
literally the only player you can play at Kane's position and don't lose the quality. He's the only one, because they put Lucas Moura, who doesn't have size, and that was a disaster as a center forward. Like Son was the only one available, and Pochettino had at least Llorente. Llorente wasn't great, but he scored important goal against City in the Champions League for sure. But he had some few goals here and there, and at least he could sort of understudy for Kane. But this season he didn't have anybody.
Mourinho would have loved Llorente, like a tall guy you could just cross the ball to. He would have just been like, he would have been in heaven with Llorente. So I know what to do with that.
He will buy someone like that. I'm pretty sure they will buy someone like just to play as a sub.
Edin Dzeko.
He was actually joking, Mourinho, in this documentary about resigning Peter.
Peter Crouch. Yeah, he would love a target man, somebody like that. Maybe he can get Giroud, you know.
Who?
Giroud, Oli Giroud.
No.
He can do the the triumvirate of the London clubs.
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't pay him.
Yeah.
Get Giroud, man. He's won more than Spurs has won.
He's still a very good player.
Yeah,
he's a
he
good
plays for
player.
France. He just scored for France.
For France, that's the only team he didn't score. Actually, last year he was pretty good for Chelsea in the bubble during pandemic.
After restart, yeah, I think this is the first time he scored that many goals in like he was scoring almost every game.
Left and right.
Yeah.
He scored.
He's on a 1-year contract though. He just signed an extension, so
He's a very useful player.
He might leave sometime in
It's
between,
often
like Jan.
because he didn't start the World Cup, but he's actually a very decent player. He's not a star. He's not. He has his limitations, especially with speed, I would say. But his finishing is top class. His finishing is actually very good. You remember when he scored what was it, the Scorpio goal? What was it called?
Oh yeah, for Arsenal.
Scorpion.
Yeah.
Scorpio goal. Yeah, man.
Scorpion.
Good finisher.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, he's a great player, and I think it's only his pace that kind of lets him down. And
playing to the feet, but once he has it at his foot, he can score anytime.
Yeah. Once you run up to him, put the ball right in front of him, and roll it on the ground at the pace that he prefers best, Giroud is money. You're right. Is there any thing else about the doc you guys want to talk about? Because I got a really serious issue I want to bring up right after you finish.
Bring it up. That's it.
Bring it up.
Do you want to see Loftus-Cheek's goals?
Yeah, I want to see.
Will you do that? All right. Let me do it.
Don't see anything.
It's a hoax.
Yeah, it's a hoax.
Do you see this now?
No.
What's going on? I can see that it's sharing.
Yeah, I can see it. Where's Loftus-Cheek's?
Okay, so you see Premier League 18-19?
I don't see it. Wait. Huh.
Premier League 18-19. You go down.
18-19 was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Last year he was out with an injury entire season pretty much.
And you go
down. I've sorted this out by just midfielders. And there you have it. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, 6 goals, 987 minutes.
So you made this up?
In the league?
In the league. This is the Premier League.
So what do you do? Score 3 against West Brom one day?
No. He didn't have. He had 6 goals in 6 different games.
Well, I don't see that.
See, this last guy, 20th.
When did he? And then you said that he scored like almost as much. Pogba had 13 goals, bro. 7
of them were penalties. So apart from penalties, it's the same, 6 goals.
I like how you like to listen, man. If Bruno Fernandes doesn't score those penalties, we don't score. We don't come in.
No, that's fine. But all I'm saying is, in a penalty, I don't give credit.
If John Terry scores that penalty in the Champions League final, you guys got 2 Champions League finals. Penalties. If Ward Prowse doesn't kick up the penalty spot against Iceland, we tie that game against Iceland.
But penalties you're proving my point. But you're proving my point. The fact that you missing a penalty is such a big deal only shows how easy it is to get one, and it shouldn't really be that's something in somebody's favor.
You said that. I completely disagree with that.
No, the fact that people remember how many people remember a great penalty? You only remember a great penalty misses.
Nah, that's not true. What are you talking about? I just mentioned
you mentioned 2 2 examples of where people misses, didn't get the penalty.
Of misses, but I remember. But because we were talking about misses to validate scores. Now, if you want me to bring up important penalties, I can bring up important scored penalties. I can bring up Brazil World Cup, penalty and the goal World Cup winning penalties. You know what I'm saying?
But it wasn't a World Cup winning penalty though. It was a penalty shootout in which, they. When you go up to the spot, you were expected to score. No, you're not. Which is why we give great credit to, like when Petr Cech saved us in the penalty shootout, and he saved a penalty from Robin in normal time in the Champions League final. That is great. So you get the goalkeeper gets credit.
No, I think you're wrong. I think if the keeper saves the penalty, everybody jumps on the keeper. If the guy scores the winning penalty, everybody jumps on the goal scorer. You know,
but nobody really remembers them, though. It's not something to be proud about.
About what? Scoring a penalty?
Yeah. Because you're expected to do
Martin,
it.
jump in here, bro. Please don't.
No, I will say this though.
He's going all Willie on me.
I give credit more importantly to the person. No, I know the benefit of having good penalty takers in the team. Don't get me wrong, because I know we've had that, and you said that you've had that trouble before Bruno Fernandes came.
Yeah.
But it's still something that is a very percentage-wise. This is a skill set that, as a professional player who steps forward to take a penalty, you're supposed to have, right?
Yeah, but everybody that's like if Liverpool doesn't have Milner, they don't win.
No, but they have other players too.
No, but he's their penalty taker. Like
Salah takes penalties.
No, Milner is their main guy.
But Milner doesn't play half the time. So
no. But
so
in
the
season that they won.
I need to check something, and I'll tell you in a second.
Milner used to score mad all their penalties when he's on the field, and he happened to be on the field a lot when it came to penalty time, so they lucked out. If Sergio Ramos, right, is not on the field for Real Madrid and Spain taking their penalties, like he scored an Ansu Fati earned penalty this weekend in international week. Like,
you know who should get the credit for that? Ansu Fati, because for me in a penalty, the guy who wins the penalty is the guy.
I think he should get credit for it too, but
he should get the bulk of the credit.
No, that's not. You have to put the penalty away. It's not. I think
there are examples of even goalkeepers being penalty specialists. This guy Hans-Jörg Butt, German goalkeeper in the Bundesliga, he scored 32 goals. Mm-hmm. I'm just checking right now. 32 goals in the Bundesliga as a penalty taker, because he was the best on the team. So he was a designed penalty taker, right? So
right.
His skill.
Which just says that you don't need to be great. It doesn't really add on to your, that's not what you're paid for.
I remember a game in Copa America in 1999, because I remember I wrote about it, was when I was a young writer. When Colombia played Argentina, and Colombia won 3-0, but Argentina has 3 penalties. All of them missed by Martin Palermo. He missed 3 penalties in the same game, and that cost the game pretty much to Argentina. That's the record. That doesn't happen too often, but at the same time, you have to be careful who you pick as your penalty specialist. Chakravarty, another goalkeeper, he was scoring.
And you're scoring free kicks too.
There is a reason why England didn't qualify to.
We didn't have good penalty takers.
Lost penalties like 20 years in a row.
Yeah. Like we penaltied our way out of so many World Cup semifinals and quarterfinals. Yes. You need penalties. Penalty taking is very important. Now, there's no way you could argue it, but I would never.
No, but I'm saying nobody gets picked in the like, for example, that goalkeeper, he would not make it to the side if he was bad at goalkeeping. It's still your bread and butter.
That's not my argument. You know what I mean? Like, because everybody makes it to the side for the reason they make it to the side.
Yeah, and
but if you have an extra layer of being a penalty taker or a free kick taker or a corner, or if you're the guy,
that can throw.
Let me finish. If you're the guy that can throw the ball long, you'll get in the game over somebody who's more skilled than you, because you're gonna create a moment of danger, and the more moment of dangers that you are capable of, like goal chances, you're able of creating, that puts you in the team. So,
but you will get a lot of corner kicks. You will get a lot of free kicks. You don't get that many penalties. I know it seems like, as a Manchester United fan, that it's very normal to get penalties every game, but penalties aren't really that. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying.
We're very offensive. We're very amazing. We get in the box and we get fouled. I'm sorry.
You mean like, unlike Liverpool or Man City and other teams don't have the skill sets?
We get in the box even more, bro.
That's not true. But that's okay. I'm just saying, that's not the ability to get a penalty in
Sometimes
is not something you differentiate two players on.
And I'll give you another example, because it goes both ways as a penalty specialist. It goes both with the person who shoots and also a goalkeeper. I remember 2014, the World Cup, the game Costa Rica against Netherlands. They substitute their goalkeeper after the overtime. They brought the guy from the bench, Tim Krul, because they knew he was great in penalties, and they did it like in the last minute of overtime, right? Because otherwise they wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that in those games, but I'm comparing in a league where you don't have penalty shootouts. And that's the reason. I'll give you the biggest example of why penalties aren't really that big a deal.
What?
Because
what?
So when
now you lost Martin. You lost Martin.
No. Hear me out, because we have to keep the context in which this discussion began, right? I'm only saying in that context. Every team would love to have penalty kick specialists in the team, right? But in a tournament or for either club or country, when the game goes to penalty shootouts and 3 people get penalties in, or 4 people or 5 people get penalties in, those goals don't count in their stats. Those goals never count in their stats.
Advance, or you're eliminated from the tournament.
It counts for the team, but it doesn't give a lot of people recognize that these are not goals that should be put on the same par as.
But you remember sometimes for the rest of your life. Everybody remembers Baggio when he missed the penalty in the World Cup final, or missed.
See, again, we are talking about penalties that are missed. That's what I'm saying. Okay, do you guys agree or not agree?
Can I just say something?
Penalties the easiest goal to score.
Can I say something? The reason why you remember the ones that were missed is because of the ones that were scored. The ones that were scored make the ones that were missed matter. So there is no argument after that. And you could
also and also because you are expected to score.
No,
you disagree at least with that.
It's a high percentage. Here's the thing.
It's the highest percentage.
It's a high percentage. Can I just say one thing?
There's no other shot in football, no other way in football where you have high a percentage.
Right. You're gonna repeat high percentage again, which is fine. So high percentage shot. But here's the thing about a penalty. Now I don't even know if I can remember it. The thing about a penalty. Shit, Martin, what were you gonna say? Go ahead.
I was gonna say that part of the reason why Lewandowski is the best striker in the world is because he has like 99% ratio of scoring penalties. He's a machine from penalties. He scores every penalty, and that's a very good skill. Where some others forwards have a problem. They miss
exactly
every season, including them.
And the same thing with Ronaldo and Messi. And then so here's the thing that I want to bring up to you about penalties. Like football changes a lot, and penalties used to be automatic. They used to be automatic. And I remember, so I feel like you're kind of stuck in the past, where I remember when, you don't even look to see somebody take a penalty like 20 years ago. You'd be like, oh, this is going in. Now the game has evolved, and for some reason it got harder, and there is more pressure when there is a penalty now. So it's not the automatic thing that it was 20 years ago. So I think your mindset is back then, but penalties feel harder now. That's why I think, it's more important.
Because I spoke to Jerzy Dudek about it. He is actually one of the pioneers, although he was also influenced by Global, Liverpool goalkeeper. He was the first one but he was the first one who brought it in the new era when he started dancing between the posts. Final in 2005. And since then, a lot of goalkeepers tried kind of the legal movement, like moving forward a little bit or moving in the goal, which and sometimes the referees let them do it. But at the same time, the strikers, and Lewandowski is a master of it, sometimes they take this slower step to wait a little bit longer to see where the goalkeeper is going, and that's his style. Like that's why Lewandowski scores every penalty, because he kind of cheats a little bit. He waits a little bit too long for the goalkeeper to make a move, and then he automatically sends the ball in the opposite corner
direction. He plays chicken. So
Yeah,
whoever plays chicken the best wins. Also, that's when you're one-on-one with a keeper. Whoever plays chicken the best, you or the keeper wins.
Yeah.
So, but also, let's go back. Like, do you remember when penalty taking changed? Because first you just had to run up and kick, but then was there like a rule change or something like 5 years ago where the that the goalkeepers started to move on the line, and also where everybody starts doing the slow fast run up or the Pogba run up or the Bruno Fernandes run up, like that, like the
I
way
don't think there was
penalties
a
are
rule
taken.
change though.
What was it?
I
Something
think
happened.
people just, I think, with passage of time, people just discovered more ways to, a lot of flares started coming into even penalty taking. So you have the Panenka, like the Panenka, the one that Bruno Fernandes does and Jorginho does. This is something that has been around. I think it's named after that guy who probably played a long time back. But it's been around. It's just that a lot more players are nowadays sure of their skills to execute that.
Right.
And I think with younger coaches, coaches also allow players to take such liberties right now, because old school coaches, they would just frown upon somebody trying to be cheeky with their penalties.
But I think they know people are saving them more. Goalkeepers are better at saving penalties now. That's why I think it got harder. That's why you really need a good penalty taker on your team. It's just essential. And that's why you had to be more creative, because after a while, if taking penalties doesn't change, saving them will just become easier because everybody just kind of knows how to save them.
No, I'm not denying that penalty
doing it for
taking
a
is
while.
an important skill or not. Of course, it's an important skill, and you need a few such players in your squad. I'm just saying that's not the skill I'll use to, you know, if everything else is equal, sure, that's an added bonus. But that's not something that I'll put even in the first top 5 or 6 things to different.
But no, that wasn't the argument.
No, to any two players in.
That wasn't even the argument. But I definitely take penalties taken serious, because I've seen how Man U suffered in the beginning of the season when we didn't have a good penalty taker, and being the team that had the most penalties in the league, we definitely was lucky to get Bruno so we could put those penalties away. Mark, nobody could hear you.
No.
What did you say?
How many penalties did you miss? Like 3 at the beginning of the season?
Like 3 or 4. Like, it was a fiasco. Like, Pogba missed some, then gave it to Rashford, and it's like, these are games we could have won. We just lost points. Then, to the point that it takes us to the last game of the season just to get third. You know what I mean?
Never misses. Milner never misses a penalty.
Yeah, Milner never misses. And it doesn't matter who's on the field for Liverpool. It could be Salah, Mane, Firmino. If Milner's on the field playing left back or right back, whatever back he is, and there's a penalty, Milner is taking that penalty. Very important. Now, listen, we've been talking about penalties. That's very important. But I just want to talk about something that's it's the biggest thing of the season that's coming up in the Premier League. And I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And I just really don't know what the fuck to do. Like, this has been floating around, and I'm like, nah, this ain't real. This is not real.
Is it Newcastle?
I mean, listen, it might as well be. It's like the guy who makes the Newcastle shirt was drunk and put a Man U Chevrolet sticker, and
looks like Steve Bruce's uniform. He's a Newcastle coach, but his heart is with United.
Is this like to be in solidarity with Harry Maguire and Greenwood having trouble with the cops?
Listen,
to go to jail?
Listen, man, when I saw this, I was like, so Man U, you want me to find another team? Is that what you want? So you want me to become a Liverpool fan? Like how are we going to buy players? How are we going to get Sancho if he knows he's going to come to a team and have to wear that? Like, how the fuck does this help us? Like, like who put this on?
Is this your away or
that-
your third kit?
It should be. Listen, it's one thing to wear this. Imagine losing in this. Like this is horrendous. And to be honest, this picture is probably the best picture of it that I've found, and it looks decent. But the first time I saw it, they just had it on some models, and it just looked unbelievable. I felt like this is a joke. Then I saw there's mock-ups of Pogba in it, Beckham in it, and this is like the daughter of Adidas or the son of Adidas came up with this, and he's like, please, my son needs a win, and he designed this, and we'll give you a deal. We'll give you a deal if you please make this your third kit. Like, why does Arsenal have the best kits? Like, Arsenal has 3 kits, and all their worst kit is better than our best kit. And then this is the third kit. You could do anything you want, and this.
And they literally did anything they want.
They literally did. It looks like. Well, it looks like I'm on Google Maps trying to get away from the shirt. I'm trying to find a route away from the shirt if I follow the lines.
Could this like throw people off? Like this could throw the opponents off. Like this is completely busy them.
Listen, they cut the lines on the field better than they designed this shirt. This is like who. I'm speechless. Like I really think they want me to stop rooting for Man U. Like if we come out the field in this, I'm done. I'm out. For real.
Chelsea this week came out with a very horrible third kit too.
Let me see it.
But just maybe Google Chelsea third kit.
Let me see.
And
there's no way.
I think it's close.
I hope so, because I need a win.
Do you want me to do it? Let me share my screen.
Third kit 2020. Images.
I think you stopped sharing.
No, I did. I'll come. Is this it? Hold on. I'll bring you back to sharing in a second. Okay. You know, this ain't as bad as ours, but I hope it is your third kit, just so I don't have to suffer alone. This it?
No. This is a training jersey, not this one.
That's a training jersey. Oh, okay.
Go back.
All right, find it for me.
No, go back. Just go back. I think I saw it in your, or maybe it was on my screen. Go, just Google Chelsea third kit.
Let me see. That's what I did.
Okay, let me share my screen.
All right. It's like the club is already losing money, right? We need to have products that people want to buy so we can afford Sancho. How is that third kit going to make us help us afford Sancho, or even make him want to come play in it? Yeah, that's not great.
This is Crystal Palace. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's not.
It is Crystal Palace.
Yeah, what is that?
It's a business, you know. Unfortunately, that the romantic side of football is disappearing, and it's a business. It's a brutal truth. You know, they need to sell as much as possible of those jerseys. Those kit companies, Nike in this case, they have to make more millions, and that's why they do that. Otherwise,
but why not come out with something nice that people would want to buy more?
Yeah, if you make something nice, people will wear it. But if you make something terrible and say, hey, buy it. It's like if I go to a restaurant and it's bread, the hardest bread with butter that's been sitting in the sun for 3 days. And I taste it. Like, why would I buy that shit? Why would I go? These kids are horrendous.
And this was leaked. And I think a lot of Chelsea fans saw this about 2 months back. Mm-hmm. And for 2 months, Chelsea fans have been very critical of this kit. they still go ahead and launch it. So,
Exactly.
clearly,
Like you get a sample, an audience sample.
yeah, you do a pilot, you get a feedback, right?
You got the Yelp. The Yelp says no. So why would you go against the Yelp? And then, man, you saw this ugly jersey. Said, oh, we could top this ugliness. This is our shit. Let's go back, ruin our third kit that was probably better than this, and make a worse one. Like imagine that jersey and Man U's jersey on the field at the same time playing against each other. You would think you're at
at a circus.
like a kid's game,
Halloween.
like your kid's Sunday game.
Yeah.
That is fucking crazy. No way, bro.
Yeah.
I'm happy with our kids. Simple, classic. It's just a classic team.
Listen, Martin, I hate our third kid so bad I might become a Spurs fan. Like this kit better not happen. It'd be crazy if one day I see it in real life and I'm like, oh shit, that's not that bad.
Yeah, sometimes that can happen with a lot of these. They don't look that bad once you wear them, because the fit comes into the picture and stuff. Now you're obviously seeing a mock-up of it on some.
Like Liverpool, they don't change much. They pretty much have the same kit.
Well, Liverpool fucked up because now they got rid of New Balance, but I thought that their New Balance kit was lit. Like this new. Is it Nike they with?
Yeah, Nike.
Nike stole the New Balance shirt and then threw like some green and white trimming around the collar and the sleeves. And I'm not feeling it. I think the New Balance was like perfectly simple. It was just, but it was so dope. I was jealous of that shirt, that Liverpool shirt.
Real Madrid, they don't change their shirts much, Juventus, they don't change that much. So,
but this is the third kit, so you're allowed to go crazy with it. Just don't go like bad crazy.
The English are changing the most, because it's all business. It's all dollar.
Yeah, this is like somebody made it while their eyes were being plucked out.
Yeah, that's bad.
Oh my God! It's gonna be.
Look
you
at
saw
the
that one shot.
Look at the shorts.
Oh God! Please, this can't be true.
Look at the shorts, y'all.
Look at the socks.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm out.
There was one shot where they had the guy was holding a ball. The ball has the same stripes as the shirt.
Oh, so we're gonna get lost on the field. Yeah, it's already tough for VAR to see a handball. Now, you don't know if it was a handball or not because the ball.
I won't be surprised if there's some psychological logic to this, because I know on goalkeeping kits, how they have these really bright colors on every goalkeeping kit,
right?
And apparently there's some behavioral analysis sports science folks have done, which says that when a striker or like a forward is one-on-one with the keeper, bright colors can hurt their their potency and make them less impactful.
That's why you need a good penalty taker. Thank you for making my point later on. I appreciate you on that one.
When you're one-on-one running, when you have time to think in a penalty, probably not that much.
Yeah, all right. Good luck. Nice try. I just want to talk about the transfer market a little bit. I'm not an expert on it, and I brought it up earlier. But there are some teams that we don't normally talk about that I think did some good business. So Chelsea is definitely one of them, right?
Spurs.
I don't know, Martin. I mean, you did improve at right back, or you have a backup right back. But Højbjerg, I'm not sold. And who else did you get?
Those two, and Joe Hart.
Oh, Jesus. All right, like I said.
It's a steal. We were talking about speeches in the locker room that both our captains can do that. Joe Hart can do that. He's a good speaker.
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to want the guy on the bench to give the Braveheart speech before you walk out to play Leipzig?
Just do the speech and then...
He's not even on the bench, I would think, right? He's in the stands.
No, he might be on the bench. We'll see. We'll see. He might be on the bench.
Like
Gazaniga.
I think Joe Hart just took the Spurs job so that he can get into the stadium during COVID. You know.
No, he's a good leader in the locker room. That's why they brought him. I think Mourinho knows that.
You have a good leader. His name is Sissoko, but y'all won't let him talk.
He has an accent, French accent. You hear what Lloris.
So what? Yeah, you hear Lloris's accent. Yeah. So one of the teams on the low that I think did a lot of good work in the transfer window is Newcastle.
Mm.
Owner, by the way.
Say that again.
Without the new money. So.
Without the new money. So they got Jamal Lewis from Norwich, right? So Jamal was decent with Norwich last year. And they got Callum Wilson, I think, from Bournemouth. And they have somebody else. Like, I'm going to slide down.
Okay.
So
he might not even play a single game because he's so injury prone.
But you know, they did pretty decent last year, and I think these are good additions. You know,
Okay.
That'll help them. And they did better than everybody thought they would. Everybody thought it was going to be in a relegation battle, and they weren't even kind of close. They're going to be difficult to beat, harder to beat this season than they were last season, I feel. Because they didn't, every time Everton has a good player, they sell them. They didn't sell anything. And they got decent squad or first 11 replacements or backups. So I think they're going to be better. I think Everton is going to be a problem.
Everton,
because we talked about Doucouré, James Rodriguez, and who else did they get?
Alan.
So, you know, they're turning into like an Ancelotti side, you know. And so even the players that aren't Ancelotti players that are already on Everton, like they'll have more time to absorb what he's teaching. So Everton is going to present extra problems more than they normally would.
Well, I didn't realize they sold Morgan Schneiderlin.
Schneiderlin. Yeah.
They
Careful
sold
how
him to Nice.
Yeah. How much did they sell him for? Let me go back.
For about 2 million.
Yeah, that's how far he slipped down. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember he came into you guys like 40 million or something.
I don't know if we paid that much. Look that up and see if we were dumb enough. But we did
35 million.
And then how much did we sell him to Everton for? Like 20 mil?
23.
Yeah. We realized right away. We just took the loss. We took the L.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah. And that was good business of us. We just did that.
Yeah.
What do you think guys think about Leicester? They sold Chilwell, but they got some Brazilian guy. No, they got a guy from Atalanta.
But did they get him? You mean Gozens?
Well, there's Timothy Castigan. I know I'm saying that wrong.
But the right back. I know they were linked to the left back from like the left wing back from Atlanta, who's Robert Gozens.
Well, Atalanta did good last year. This guy's 24 years old. He has Champions League experience under his belt. And you know, he's 24 and he's, you know, and they got him for 25 million. So, but I've never seen him play. But if he, you know, some of these buys from some of these teams, you just can't tell. Even if they played in the Premier League before, sometimes somebody leaves one Premier League team and you're like, oh, he's going to be good now that he's on that Premier League team, and then he sucks and something happens to him.
I think the one player we need to kind of talk about, even though I'm probably sure we don't know much about him, is this guy called Fabio Silva, who Wolverhampton Wanderers have bought.
Oh, the young.
He's 18. Yeah, like he's 18, but they bought him for 40 million. He's barely played any kind of senior football. So it seems like he's very highly rated. They call him the next Ronaldo, of course, because he's Portuguese. So, but it'll be interesting to see that is he going to be playing right away, or how he goes.
I think I like that coach from Wolves knows what he's doing, and he just the same way like players like Podence or Neto, and even Traore, like he doesn't like throw people into the fire or give them. He gives them. He doesn't give them as much as they can bear, so that they could want more each time that they go out and then earn it that more. So I don't think he's going to put this kid in a scenario that he knows how to manage players. So him with an 18-year-old player that's never played really in the Portuguese league, and just knowing that he has this link, he has a successful link or pipeline of Portuguese players to Wolves. So I'm going to say, and for 40 mil, like to buy a kid that's never played and the price that João Felix went to Atletico for, like this could be on the low one of the greatest steals.
Yeah, it's pretty possible. But yeah, it'll just be interesting to say like how he's gonna play with Jimenez and Traore.
Right. What anybody know about this kid Crystal Palace got from QPR?
Not really. QPR from the Championship. No.
Yeah, I don't want to really say his name.
Oh, Eze.
Eze, yeah, that's the best.
Yeah, I kept hearing of him on and off last season in the Championship, but yeah, I haven't really seen him play.
Yeah, we'll see. And then Chilwell, I'm just going through some of the. And what about this defender that Arsenal got? Gabriel Magalhaes.
Yeah.
Is he good, Martin? Do you know anything about him?
About the other guy or this guy?
Magalhaes, Gabriel from Lille.
Not enough to really talk about it. No.
Right, all right.
We've seen him because he played against us 2 games in the Champions League. And he's pretty decent. Like he is that sort of the left-footed centre back, and strong in the air, on the ground.
But the problem is it's really hard because English game is so different that some players who are better in specific leagues, they never make it in England, and some players who are not that great in other leagues are good in England. So it's just a very specific league where
especially centre back.
Yeah, if you're like a top player, you will make it everywhere. But some of those players are good for certain leagues and not that good for some other leagues.
Yeah, we know. That's how football is. It's just a funny game. Shit is round.
The best example, Memphis Depay was a star everywhere else, but in England he kind of failed.
I just think he was young when he came to England, and Man United were like at the beginning of the podcast we talk about the pressure of being a Man United. It doesn't matter who the coach is or who the players are. There's this expectation. So if you don't deliver right away, it's like we're lucky to still have Martial. There's so many seasons that could have been considered a failure, and some of them was because of injury. Some of them is because we had Ibrahimovic and Lukaku, and there was the amount of forwards that we play and the position that we played him in. And it's like, Marshall could have been considered a failure, but because we kept him and now the right coach is using them, he's a success. Like Depay needed more time. He was around, he's a little bit older than Marshall, like a year or two, but he came to Man U young. We got rid of him too fast.
He's going to Barcelona now. Yeah, I think that just came out today. They've agreed for him to go to Barcelona.
Yeah, Koeman's trying to he's trying to turn the team Dutch.
I was actually one of the best players for his national team. He was arguably one of 3 best players for the Netherlands. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
I'm confused about Depay's position. Is he a forward or is he like a false 9 or what is he a midfielder?
His best position, I would say, is on the wing. When you have one striker up front and 2 guys behind him, that's his best position.
Oh, okay. But he's scoring a lot, it seems.
Yes, I mean that's a very offensive position. Yeah, it's like Cristiano Ronaldo was, at his prime. Yeah, that's his position.
I'm just look through these other thing of transfers, and then we'll just look at like Ryan. That's the other player that Newcastle got. That I think Ryan Fraser. Like that kid is small, he's little, he's fast, and he can get in there, and he's skillful. And now he's at Newcastle. So with him, Callum Wilson, and that's good. He's there with a Bournemouth teammate. He's wearing stripes again. They're different. They're white and black stripes this time. And
here's my thought.
This is good for Newcastle.
Here's why not. Here's why it's not good.
Tell me.
When you buy, there was a coach in Poland who had this word for situations like that, which I agree with. When you buy players from Bournemouth, you start playing like Bournemouth.
So what?
When you buy players from Bournemouth, you start playing like Bournemouth, who got relegated. So.
Oh, can I tell you something? There's this coach, very famous coach. His name is Jurgen Klopp, and he went to Newcastle after they got relegated, and he took this player that we just finished discussion. Well, we haven't talked about Wijnaldum, and they won the Champions League, and then he went to Southampton. Was it Southampton? And then he got this other player after Southampton almost got relegated.
Hull City.
And they got Mane, and they did not play. They did not start playing like Southampton or Newcastle.
And they got Robertson from Hull.
Robertson from Hull, Liverpool did not start playing like Hull. So I don't know who your coach is, but the one I'm referring to is Klopp.
Also, Ryan Fraser probably preempted Martin bringing this up, and therefore just stopped playing for Bournemouth. He's the guy who said, I won't be playing after restart. And he just refused to play while their team was getting relegated.
Yeah, he's probably the reason Bournemouth went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, you can't call me a Bournemouth player anymore. I jumped off that boat long ago.
Yeah, Bournemouth. I'm sure Bournemouth fans hate him.
Hate
to
him.
death. Yeah, there's no question. How good is this Rodrigo Martin from Valencia to Leeds?
We don't know. Unproven commodity. Same with, actually I like the City guy because he played his first game. He started his first game for Spain. The guy that City got from Valencia. The
defender?
They got the midfielder, the right midfielder from Valencia, Torres.
Ferran Torres.
Yeah, he played, not Fernando Torres.
No, Ferran
Torres, yeah. So he played his first game for Spain, 90 minutes. He's a really good player. I think he will be in rotation for City. He's a young player, but he'll be in rotation.
All right.
Maybe Pep will change his position. Maybe he'll make him right back. I don't know. Maybe.
Listen, Pep always changed things, so definitely. How about this soccer team that bought this player for £15 million? The soccer team that bought this guy called Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Man, what a how bad did they get gypped?
35 mil, I think, not 50.
It says £15 million here.
15.
Southampton to Tottenham.
Or 50.
15.
15, yeah, that's fine. That's
yeah.
Doherty also 15. That's a good buy. 2 good buys. I like that.
All right. And then just before we get out of here, let me just look at some of these matchups because everything has changed.
And did you guys also get Lo Celso? Like I know he was on loan, I think, right?
Yeah, he came back to you guys, right?
Good player.
Okay, so it's permanent now.
But now he will be released. He will have more of a chance to show his true colors for Spurs with Højbjerg playing behind because he won't have to be the guy kind of trying to fill those gaps in the back. He will have more creative role, I think, on the Tottenham, and we'll see way more from it.
Are you guys planning on not playing Sissoko?
No, I'm planning to play. The Sissoko is good, but Sissoko also is not a typical defensive midfielder. He's also a guy who likes to run with the ball. So I like to have Højbjerg where Højbjerg is, and then you can have Lo Celso and Sissoko, or one of them for occasion, and mix them up with more offensive lineup where Ali plays as attacking midfielder, and sometimes you can have Ali play together with Lucas Moura, or you can play one of them. Because Son will play and Kane will play.
Do you think Højbjerg is better than Winks?
Yes.
And where's Dyer going to play? Back in defense?
Well, unfortunately, yes.
All right. I'm going to pick out some games and ask you guys, what do you think? Liverpool versus Leeds. Poor Leeds. You just get back into the Premier League, and who do they give you to welcome you to the party? Is a bunch of world-class ass beaters, Liverpool. How do you think this is going to go down, y'all?
Well, listen, no fans. So remember what happened after pandemic. A lot of away wins. So no jitters from playing in front of the cup. That could be intimidating for a promoted team. But playing in front of the empty stadium, not so much. So listen, Bielsa can they can create something there. I'm not sold that they're gonna lose for sure. They might, but they can get something out of it.
What's more intimidating, playing in front of an empty cop or coming in at halftime after not doing your job and having to face Bielsa?
I thought you were gonna say Mourinho.
Well, Mourinho seems like he doesn't want to lose. I think he lost the locker room at Manchester United. And he's figured out in this documentary, from what I'm watching, I think having the cameras on has actually helped Spurs.
Yeah.
Like more than, as well as Mourinho. Like Mourinho is like, I do not want to, like.
But no cameras this time around.
So what?
They're saying,
I know. So let's see how. Let's see how good or nice or good a coach he is without no cameras this season. But
Leeds can do something because they. I used to watch a lot of them 2 seasons back when it was Bielsa's first year, because I had an interest in watching Derby, and they're a pretty good team. They're not like the typical championship team that usually comes up. They like to play good football, but they're also not like, you know how Fulham tried to do it in the Premier League, where they had only 1 year and they got exposed greatly at the back. These are not like that. They like playing good football, but they're also very organized.
Oh, okay.
So
because Norwich like playing good football too, but they kind of only and the same thing with Arsenal, but they got saved. Not Arsenal, Villa, but they got saved by 1 point. Yeah.
This team is organized, so I think at least that first game, I think it's going to be the best game of the weekend.
Oh, yeah?
And I mean, we should expect Liverpool to beat them, but I think Leeds can surprise a few folks.
Yeah, I think they can surprise a few folks, but I just don't think they'll surprise Liverpool.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool got a wake-up call from the Charity Shield, and they know they're the defending champs. So I don't think Klopp is happy with the way they finished the season. So
did you guys hear what Klopp had to say today?
No, what did he say?
There's an interview of him, and I think the full interview is still not come out, but a 2-minute clip came out, and I think it's like this. We don't know what was the question that was asked, but I think it was asked something about the lack of transfers, and we know that Liverpool has been wanting to buy Thiago, but they're stalling because the price is 30 million.
Right.
And most Liverpool fans look at that and feel like, well, it's just 30 million. This is a world-class player. We've just won so much. We have a new Nike deal. Why are we so shy of spending even 30 million? We didn't spend anything last season. So Klopp kind of said that, it's an uncertain time, and there seem to be certain teams that are behaving as if the uncertainty doesn't mean anything to them. But, we are not owned by countries. We are not owned by oligarchs. And so we are a different club. So, we have to do things differently. And this is how we've always done things. And, we won the Champions League. We won Premier League. We came second in the Premier League. So, we'll continue to be that way.
I wonder what team he was talking about.
So I know, right?
I have no idea.
I don't mind it because, it seems like he was trying to reassure the fans.
Right.
Because a lot of Liverpool fans are not happy with the way that you're completely going to go two summers in a row.
Fans panic. They panic. Last year, Liverpool didn't do much business, right? And they didn't need to. They just won the Champions League. And if you look at the team, it's young. They have people in every position. They got extra defenders. And plus, you don't know who they have in their youth system. And they like to bring people up. And they bought people mid-season, like Minamino. And I think there's somebody. Yeah, so it's like Liverpool is a team that's well-structured and they're prepared. Klopp is from Dortmund. And I just finished talking about Dortmund. They're set up right. They're organizationally. So it's like,
here's the thing: is it
fans
Klopp?
Just like panicking, man?
No, but here's the thing: is it Klopp that is? Because from all the reports that came in, it seemed like Klopp does want Thiago, and Thiago wants Liverpool.
But if
it's an order coming up from the top.
Let me ask you a question: if you get Thiago, because it feels like Wijnaldum is going to go to Barca, and like, I would never exchange Thiago for Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum's like a year younger, but he also doesn't get injured. And he's won the same things in England as Thiago has won. Not as much because he didn't start his career at Barcelona and then go straight to Bayern. He started it like wherever he was. And then he went to Newcastle and then he came to Liverpool. But Wijnaldum is just pure class.
I think Thiago is better though.
And he also stepped up Wijnaldum in very important moments, like the Barca was the best player on the field, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know if Thiago is better, bro.
I think Thiago is the best in the world in his position.
Nah, he's the best holding midfielder.
I mean, a holding midfielder with with also a passing range. There's very few people around who are as good as him. And since if Liverpool play Thiago and Fabinho in that pivot, the league could be over before it began, because they're not going to concede any goals.
I would just keep Wijnaldum, bro.
No, my point is don't let Wijnaldum go. Why are you festering so much over 30 million? Keep Wijnaldum and get Thiago too. Build the squad in a way that, because it's going to be a packed schedule. We know it's going to be the most packed Premier League schedule.
Yeah, and there's no 5 substitutes, which I think
no 5 substitutes.
They should have kept that, and that's a mistake.
There's no 5 substitutes. You are going to need rotation. You know how many injuries Oxlade-Chamberlain and Keita get every season.
Right.
So you can do with that extra depth. So, but it was kind of interesting that I think there's a little bit of frustration in there, where you constantly keep getting asked about transfers and you see other clubs doing it. But the fact that he actually went on record.
Don't say other clubs. Just say Chelsea. Chelsea, bro.
Yeah, but that's the club he's, apart from Manchester City. Man City also did some, bought 2 players in, and now Chelsea is buying players to close the gap. He doesn't really care about what Everton does.
I don't even, you know what? Like, Pep tinkers with stuff so much. Like, I don't know if he's going to give the players he buys time to settle at Man City. Like, I feel like a few weeks into the season, he'll just go back to Otamendi. And whenever Laporte's not injured, like I'm not even sure what Man City did. I'm not even sure they're sure of what they did in this transfer window.
It seems like they want to get Koulibaly.
No, they bought Aki. They bought Aki, so.
That's like, come on. And then, you know what? Martin, I'm going to go with you. If you buy Bournemouth players, you're going to defend like Bournemouth. That's how I feel about Aki. So you know what? My bad. You were right, Martin. Martin, what do you feel about Tottenham versus Everton? Everton has Ancelotti, they got James Rodriguez, they have the guy from Napoli, and who else do they have? We mentioned.
We'll crush them.
So what?
We'll crush them.
All right. Okay. I mean, I can't stop you from feeling that way.
They buy, they buy rejects. They buy players who fails, so it will take time for Ancelotti to make them winning players again, because James Rodriguez is low on confidence for sure. And yeah, I mean, I don't believe that Everton. They always do the same thing. They buy big names who are like past their prime or in a bad situation, and they overpay for them, and then they're surprised they don't get results. The only time they were a really good team was under Moyes, when Moyes was just buying, like kind of underappreciated blue-collar type of players like Gravesen. He was like,
Yeah, Gravesen was dope. Gravesen was a fucking genius.
Flashy players who failed at the other big club, big names.
Mm-hmm.
It's not working for them for the last 10 years. So
yeah,
that was the biggest con job ever. David Moyes kind of convinced Sir Alex Ferguson and Manchester United that he is United manager material.
Well, to be quite honest with you, he didn't get a full season even, and he
didn't deserve it, Martin.
But he then went ahead and he couldn't do much at Real Sociedad.
Or West Ham.
Or West Ham. Well, he's at West Ham now, right? Yeah.
He was somewhere before West Ham too in England. It wasn't that great.
He did well.
Nah.
He did West Ham. He kept them in the league.
He what?
He kept them in the league last year.
That's the least he could do. If he doesn't keep them in the league, he's done as a Premier League manager. And they didn't.
Pellegrini didn't do well. Like they were in a big problem. They had
were. Yeah, I know, but West Ham should be playing better. But he did a great job when they came back. But that's just for 9 games. I don't know. I don't believe in Moyes. I used to believe in Moyes, not anymore. Like, you know how Mourinho has changed and Pep has changed. Like, what if you never won anything and you've changed? You know what I mean? Like, Pep is not the coach he used to be, right? So you expect his teams to sometimes lose. Like, Moyes was never a great coach, so, but I agree with you, like, the way Everton buys, but I kind of believe in James Rodriguez.
And also, I kind of believe in Ancelotti too.
And Ancelotti too. I always believe in Ancelotti. And the next match I want to highlight is going to be Monday the 14th, Sheffield versus Wolves. I think that's going to be a really good match. Like 2 teams from last year that surprised everybody, and now everybody knows what it is. And these 2 teams start the season off against each other. I would go with Wolves because both teams defend well, but Wolves just has more attacking.
You guys have taken their best player, Sheffield United, Dean Henderson.
Yeah, we weakened them. Yeah, but they got Ramsdale, right? They got
the Bournemouth guy.
Yeah, they got the good Bournemouth guy. So he looks like Henderson, but let's see if he can keep like Henderson.
Yeah. They have a pretty interesting kit. Speaking of kits, they have this huge Union Jack in the middle of their kit. Sheffield? Looks like a very Brexit. Yeah, I think they have some sort of a sponsor.
Oh.
It seems like a pretty Brexit kit.
Yeah, they might be in a Brexit area of England, so yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Listen, I got 4% of battery left.
Yeah, me too. 4%.
I don't want to get. That's funny. Yeah, I'm too lazy to get up and plug it in.
Yeah.
So
I did it once, but now it went back to 4.
Oh, okay.
I did go for 15 minutes to the other place where I plugged in, but then I had to unplug to go back to the old place. So
I know you moved. Any parting words, Martin?
I expect a big season from Tottenham and a huge win 4-0 against Everton. And let's hope for that.
You know you're a journalist, right? And people are expecting you to give them logic-based responses so that they can count on you.
As I said, Mourinho's second season. I hope that's the pattern, Mourinho's second season.
You know we won the league at Real Madrid in the 3rd season, not the 2nd season.
We'll win the 3rd. In the 2nd, we'll be just top 4. We'll win the.
And what's your partner words, Neil?
I'm just hoping to see a new keeper come in because I can't rest until that happens. And it seems like we are getting this guy, Edouard Mendy from Rennes, who, I don't know, I've never seen him play, but he's tall. So that's something. he actually died. You know, when the ball comes at you, he actually dies.
All right.
That's something that we haven't seen for a while. So, yeah, we had like at the beginning of the transfer window, I was thinking there's like 5 positions we need to absolutely fill, and 2 are like, it'd be good to have. It seems like we've done 4 of the essential 5. If the keeper comes in, we'll be done with the 5, and then maybe Declan Rice. There seems to be a lot of rumors about Declan Rice coming in.
That was just such a waste of money. I watched him play for England. It's just
no, but he can't do much when he's essentially playing 3 DMs.
I watched him play for West Ham.
He's pretty good with West Ham. I don't know.
I've never been impressed, but hey, if he turns into a good player, we didn't score against Denmark. There was nothing going on for us. We looked like West Ham. Martin might be right. England looked like West Ham, disjointed and just like, what is our style? Yeah. None. For me, I didn't get over last season and miss football, but I'm glad I didn't miss football. I'm glad the new season's going to start. I can't wait to get up early, 4:30 in the morning, to watch some matches with no crowds. And, it just kind of brings like some sort of semblance of last year type of life back, or the type of life that we've been used to. So it should be fun. And then we'll be back and we'll talk about, Tottenham getting crushed 4-0 by Everton next week. I want to thank our producer, Aaron Brungardt. Thank you, Martin, for coming through with your Tottenham optimism. Neil, you guys had the Christmas, off-season Christmas, the best off-season Christmas since the Real Madrid bought the Galacticos, the first and second time. So
we paid our dues. We paid our dues, so it's well deserved.
I don't know if you did
well
that.
Deserved. We're catching up. We're having a 3-in-1 window.
Yeah, you had an off-season like when Mourinho first came to Chelsea, and then when he came back to Chelsea, like you went shopping like that.
But here's what happens when you put too many ingredients in the soup. The soup gets spoiled, and that's
all right. We'll see. I'm down to 1%. We'll see. I love you, everybody. Right. Be good.
See ya.
Thanks, Aaron.
All right.
1.